Third Divine Vision, 13 November 1989. I am in the light, more and more light, intensely. This time it is a further hook, blood that I see appear. Once again, I am pulled through the dimensions, and I come out on the other side. It's completely different, and yet I feel the impression of contemplate God. There are like roots, only roots, a multitude of roots. All the space is filled with roots. The largest come from a central point and then branch out more and more to reach every point of matter, every atom, every particle. They are a densification of consciousness, strong for those linked to material points, lighter with different degrees for the connection with life, much more subtle with also different degrees for the connections with the spirit, and many others perhaps. All these roots are of pure energy that maintains the universe and convey the intention of the boss, God. Text structure. The connection with the Book of Revelation did not allow me to immediately set up the found elements. It represents only a master plan and unfortunately not a detailed plan. There are still a lot of uncertainties, especially in the color ratios in the central part, that I have a lot of trouble pinning down. I will be trying many more attempts in the years to come. The relationship of colors and shapes are interdependent in this very particular image. The slightest change unbalances the whole. I have a great deal of difficulty dissociating what must be a visible painted image from what is an animated image in light color. With everything I found, I think there are several images embedded in each other, like the parts of a mechanical. But how do you put them together? According to me, the text of the Book of Revelation is structured in 4 parts. There are a prologue, an address to the churches of Asia, concerning a situation from the time of John's vision. It is anecdotal and does not have much to do with this painting, although I do find some of them. A description of places, a lot of commonalities with the natural light part of the picture. One can even say that it is the pictorial descriptions with terms from another era of the painting which was surrounds it. The dramatic actions. I do not dwell on the horror described, to see to what extent they are not the translation into ancient and anthropomorphized language of simple sets of geometric lights. The heavenly Jerusalem, the calm after the storm, the message of hope. It is a description in very poetic and embellished terms of the final image of the painting. Fourth, divine vision. Deep dive into the light. This time there is no hand, no hook, only a current of energy that carries me. Once again, I come out on the other side. Once again, I feel the ineffable feeling that I am contemplating God. And yet, it's totally different. I see fractals in all directions, all kinds of embedded fractals. Fractals are geometric shapes that generate in one in another, from large to small, and vice versa. In the manner of certain lakes, snowflakes are structured by fractals. Recent discoveries show that the cutting of the Britain coast would also be caused by fractals. From the smallest to the largest, the fractals are everywhere. They were discovered relatively recently, around 1960, by a French mathematician of Polish origin, Benoit Mandelbrot. This is the fourth and last vision of the divine that I will have. We are far from the bearded character imagined by some, from the simple luminous point or even from the vacuity or nirvana. But why these different aspects? The Book of Revelation. I found that the text of the Book of Revelation is constructed as an American disaster film. In the beginning, we presumed places, one and the other, in the calm. Then appear horsemen carrying bad news and disasters. They will get progressively worse, so much that what is described in this context will seem monstrous to those who have let themselves get carried away by the action, the show. Then, after a sort of final explosion, is the calm, the happy end. And the happy end is the heavenly Jerusalem. Those who only remember disasters are those who left before the end of the film, or who fell asleep. For in fact, this text is a revelation of hope, but well hidden. There have always been disasters in history: wars, famines, disease. The plague was much more serious than AIDS. Tortures of all were not sad, and had not much to envy in our time. If there is indeed a revelation, it is not in the catastrophe that is found. Not only does the text look like the script of a big show movie, but the description of the objects I have identified makes me think of a kind of home cinema. I will then give the detail of that interpretation. But before, imagine a character from antiquity who finds himself projected in a cinema. It is obvious that he will not understand what he says as a current spectator. It is enough to recall the reactions of the people who attended the first screenings at the beginning of the cinematographs. He will not distinguish between what is on the screen and what is in the room. What is happening in the projection will seem absolutely true to him, but he will need to bring the abstract images back to the level of his understanding. Thus, psychological light effects, which we would only see as light effects in our time, because for him the bearers of meaning, like the characters we can see, drawn by clouds. Where it gets complicated is that they can also have that meaning, and another intended for someone else. Light effects with purely geometric structures will appear to him as angels, which leads to the question, what should an angel look like and what it is really? It would seem that it is an emanation of divine energy, which would take a human form in order to be accepted by the person to whom it is addressed according to his degree of understanding. Personally, I have never seen one. This being said, this text is highly symbolic and has several hidden meanings nested in each other. The one that seems most obvious being the least important. The same descriptions can have several meanings depending on the point of view in which one is placed and the degree of understanding that one has attained. It took me a very long time to delve into certain aspects, and it is not over. I mainly focused on one describes the structure of extasium, the happy end, the message of hope, the heavenly Jerusalem. We don't talk about it enough, or in a childish way. In the film Stargate, we see a city built on a rock that moves in space. This interpretation is just good for a science fiction movie. So, heavenly Jerusalem, what is it?